is a global career guidance event to empower students and assist them in identifying their ideal future career path. It was conceptualized by the Board of Directors of Indian Schools in Sultanate of Oman. The first Avenir was organized at Indian School Al Mabala in the year 2018. In 2019, Indian School El Seeb conducted the program. Indian School Muscat conducted the first virtual Avenir in the year 2020. Avenir 2021 was conducted virtually by Indian School Al Wadi Al Kabir. In 2022, the flagship school in Oman. Indian School Boshar is all set to fly the flag higher by conducting Avenir 2022 in hybrid mode. Our impeccable planning, devoted team, unmatched resources guarantee a memorable event. The 5-day event will be held from Thursday, October 13, 2022 to Tuesday, October 18, 2022. Prominent achievers, educators, and industry experts will address the audience. Universities and educational institutes from different corners of the globe will present themselves to the audience of Avenir 2022. The event is open to all educational boards, including CBSE, ICSE, IGCSE, and IB. It will provide comprehensive career guidance to students to pursue their passions at national and international universities. Avenir 2022 guarantees a wealth of information and awareness on 21st century courses, scholarships, internships, and career placements. This event will assist students in discovering their ideal future career path. Let us gather together for this 5 days of excitement, effulgence, enlightenment, exploration, and exaltation. Let's join Avenir 2022 to discover you. Avenir.
Technology trust is a good thing, but control is a better one. Stephanie Napo. Good morning, one and all. Let me take you all through the listings of what to expect in today's session. It is also the 4th session of the mega event Avenir 2022 #DiscoverYou. The welcome address will be followed by a brief introduction and a video on our eminent speaker. Then we shall invite the esteemed speaker for her presentation. After the presentation, we shall request our guest speaker to answer a few questions raised by the attendees in the Q&A segment. The continuing session will be taken up by the university spokesperson. The detailing of the courses available and the process of admission will be put forth. We shall conclude this session with a vote of thanks. The internet is becoming the town square of the global village of tomorrow. Bill Gates.
What a fantastic quote to begin the session. Good morning, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Avenir 2022 #DiscoverYou, a global career guidance program launched by Indian School Boshar under the aegis of the Board of Directors by Indian Schools in Oman. On behalf of Indian School Boshar, I, Praneet of Class 11,
and I, Zeba of Class 9,
take the proud privilege of expressing our profound gratitude to His Majesty Sultan Haytham bin Tariq Al Said for the altruistic and noble benevolence showered on the Indian diaspora in the Sultanate of Oman. May the Almighty shower His choicest blessings and on His Majesty, and may this nation experience peace and everlasting prosperity.
We are happy to welcome all the students, parents, and teachers to be a part of Avenir 2022 #DiscoverYou. Thank you one and all for your benign presence this morning. It is with sheer joy and great pride I take the task of introducing our speaker today, Ms. OANA UNGUREANU. Ms. OANA UNGUREANU is currently serving as the head of the recruitment unit in UNHCR Division of Human Resources. Prior to this assignment, Ms. UNGUREANU served in a variety of other functions with UN organizations such as UNICEF, UNDP, and WFP since 2002, in HQ regional centers and country offices.
Her assignments included Southeast Asia, East Africa, Central Asia, Europe, and the US. Ms. UNGUREANU is a national of Romania and has a background in business administration, as well as several specializations in human resources and conflict management. We would like to request the audience to kindly post your queries in the Q&A box. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please join me in welcoming our speaker, Ms. OANA UNGUREANU. The platform is all yours, ma'am.
Thank you so much, and good morning, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. It's always a pleasure to talk to young people. And I hope that my presentation today and the discussion we're going to have afterwards is going to inspire you to start a future career with the UN. Let me try to see if I can share my presentation. If I can, I think I would have to share my screen because I don't see an option to share my presentation here. Okay. So 1 second. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. It's visible.
Yes, it's visible, but I would like to have it as a slideshow. Okay, fantastic. So let me minimize myself. Yeah, so my name is OANA UNGUREANU. I am currently the head of the recruitment unit for UNHCR. And for the last 20 years, I wake up every morning thinking, today I'm going to do something for the people in need. And it's a fantastic feeling to have. I started as an intern with the UN 20 years ago, and I never regretted that. So I wish everyone can have such a wonderful feeling when they go to work. But let me start with a little quote from one of our employees, and her name is, can you hear me well? First of all, just to make sure that the connection
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's really
good. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. This is what Grace, our colleague from Congo, says about her work as staff working with UNHCR. It's so amazing to see that you really create a difference in the life of a person who had lost hope. And if you ask probably 99% of our employees in 99% of the days, this is what they're going to say, that it's amazing to see that we make a difference. Our mandate is based on the 1951 Geneva Refugee Convention, and it is to ensure the international protection of people forced to flee worldwide. So basically, UNHCR was created in 1951, just after the Second World War. And at the time, we were all thinking that it's going to be a temporary measure, that we're going to be helping refugees go back to their countries, and then the organization is not going to be needed anymore. We're all of us very hopeful. Well, they were all of them very hopeful. I was not born at the time, but unfortunately, we are still needed, and we are needed more than ever, actually. And while our vision is that our organization will, the role of our organization is going to change, and that there will be no refugees in the world. Currently, actually, we are at 80 million refugees worldwide. And maybe pausing a little bit just to understand the numbers, 80 million refugees worldwide. And this is why we are currently hiring around 18,000 people. Actually, this year with the crisis in Ukraine, we reached almost 20,000 people worldwide. And we hired these 20,000 people under different contractual modalities, so they can be interns. Maybe this is what is going to be of interest for you. They can be volunteers, they can be our employees, they can be working through other organizations, can be in different categories. But just to get an idea, we moved from a workforce of 2,000 people to almost 20,000 people. This is how much we are needed in the world at the moment. And what exactly do we do? We have 4 pillars of our work. The main one is protecting people forced to flee their homes. And how do we do that? We respond with life-saving support. This is the first step. Then we safeguard fundamental human rights, and then we help people to build better futures. If I use an example, and I'm trying to think of maybe using an example from South Sudan. Let's use the example from South Sudan. Let's say that we have a village is attacked, there is a conflict ongoing in South Sudan, a village is attacked, and people have to flee in the middle of the night. They don't have time to take anything with them. They grab their children and then they run away. So UNHCR in this first stage provides them with help, provides them with tents to sleep, provides them with basic food, with facilities. We cooperate with other UN agencies in order to provide them with food. For example, it would be World Food Program. For children, it would be UNICEF. But we give them this immediate emergency type of support. Afterwards, these refugees who moved, let's say they ran from South Sudan to Kenya. They arrive in Kenya, they are in a refugee camp, they have no documents, their children cannot go to school because they have no documents, they have no medical insurance. And this is when, forgive me, I have a little bit of a sore throat, I hope it's nothing serious. So this is when UNHCR is helping them get documents, get their status recognized in the country, is helping children go to school, is helping them get medical insurance. So it's helping them feel safe in the refugee camp where they are based. The next step, after 1 to 3 months, when they realize that they cannot go back home, the refugees, they need to start planning for the future, right? So this is when, again, UNHCR is helping them get a job, maybe invest in different types of skills that will be required in the new country, facilitates their integration with the local authorities. These are our main pillars of action. And in some cases, we also help the refugees go back to their home country if the home country is safe. But who are the people forced to flee? And they're in 5 categories. First one is refugees. So it's people fleeing conflict or persecution, similar to what I explained in the example from South Sudan. When we talk about persecution, it can be because of your political opinions. It can be because of your sexual orientation. It can be because of your gender. In some countries, being a woman is not, and trying to go to university, for example, is not acceptable. It can be because of your race, or because of your nationality, or because of your religion. In some places, maybe if you are a Muslim, you're going to be persecuted, or if you are a Christian, you're going to be persecuted. So it's not only fleeing war. But these are not the people who are leaving their country because of economic situation. So these are not economic migrants. It's not somebody who is looking for a better place to live and to earn a better income. That's a totally different situation. So those are not refugees. Stateless people are those who don't have a nationality and who struggle then to realize their human rights. Because if you don't have a nationality, that means that you don't have documents, you are not recognized, you don't exist according to the country where you are. And there have been situations, I don't know if you are aware, of the Rohingya refugee crisis where they were not recognized by their host country, and then they had to run and go into another country where they could get documents and they could get, they were recognized as human beings. The third category is asylum seekers, and these are the individuals who are seeking international protection. Again, this is because they are persecuted in their home country, and that can be again due to political reasons, due to religion, nationality, or race. Fourth category is internally displaced people. Not everybody, not all the refugees have to leave their country. Going back to the example of South Sudan, some of them, they will stay in South Sudan, but maybe they will have to move from one region to another. And the last category is the returnees. These are the people who finally return home. There is no more conflict, there is no persecution, they are safe to go back home. And we are looking now at the situation. I'm sure you have all seen that the details of the conflict in Ukraine. Many people have fled conflict. Then they started going back. Now they're fleeing conflict again. But what UNHCR is planning for already is the moment when people are going to return home. So this is our long-term vision. Where do we work? At the moment, we are present in 135 countries. So we are very much needed, unfortunately, I may say, because of course our aim is not to be needed in the world, not to have any conflicts, not to have persecution, not to have refugees in general. We are present on all continents, but in Australia we only have a representation office. Otherwise, you can see the map. We are all over the world. And depending on the situation, our presence increases or decreases. We were not planning, for example, to have a big office in Ukraine, but now our office there has around 300 people. We were not planning to have big offices in South Sudan 20 years ago, but now we have a very large office there. So depending on the political situation in specific countries. Our workforce, the numbers are not updated again. Right now we are at almost 20,000 people. My team has been very busy this year, and 87% are based in the field, and only 13% are based in headquarters. Our headquarters are in Geneva, but we also have quite a big office in Budapest, where I am based. I am based at the moment in Budapest in Hungary. Looking at our workforce, 61% are male and 39% are female. We are trying to reach gender parity, so we take special measures to attract more female employees in the future. And now maybe going back to the number of refugees that we are supporting, 1 out of 95 people, okay, roughly 1 out of 100 people on Earth has fled their home as a result of conflict or persecution. We are, all of us, privileged not to be refugees at the moment, but 1 out of 100 people, so 80 million people, the global population at the moment being 8 billion people, so 80 million people have fled their home. And out of these 80 million people, around 20 million people fall under UNHCR's mandate. Then there is another agency that is dealing specifically with Palestine refugees. The agency is called UNRWA, and maybe you want to Google that. Then there are the asylum seekers, which is another 4 million people, and the internally displaced people, who are 48 million. What is our value proposition? And the value proposition means basically, why do we think that employees should come and work for us? But besides our mission and our vision, which is working to build better futures for people forced to flee, we also have the 4 principles of humanitarianism that are guiding all of our employees. So, and that are guiding our organizational culture in general, actually. The first one is humanity. Then, of course, it's neutrality. And humanity, maybe I don't know if I have to explain. It's about helping our human fellows. Neutrality is about not taking side in conflict. If I go back to the example I used earlier on South Sudan, we don't decide who is right and who is wrong, and we don't intervene politically in any way in conflict or in the decision-making process for refugees. Impartiality, again, in a situation of conflict, we help all sides. Irrespective who is the attacker, who is the victim, we help who needs us. And then, of course, independence, we are a UN body, and we only follow the instructions of our Secretary General. I will ask you afterwards a few questions about our organization in general. Let's see who can give me the answers. As an organization, we are committed to inclusion, diversity, and of course, gender parity. When I talk about inclusion, what I mean is we welcome all employees. So we welcome people with disability, people of all races, people from developed countries, people from developing countries, because we think that they all bring richness to the organization. Then when we talk about diversity, in most cases, the general perception is that diversity is only about male, female, or countries, but diversity entails so much more. It's sexual orientation, it can be religion, it can be age, it can be so many other categories. So we welcome all types of employees because we think that a diverse workforce is going to give us better results. And of course, separately, we have gender parity indicator because we are still at 40% women only, and we want to reach 50-50. Who do we need and why you should consider maybe in your future to apply for UNHCR? We need colleagues who are passionate about our mission. We also need colleagues who are willing to work in hardship locations. Hardship locations can be, I'll go back to the example of South Sudan because I know I have many friends. I haven't been there, but I have many colleagues and friends who have been there. You are in a situation where there is a conflict next door. You might wake up in the middle of the night hearing shootings. And even if you work for the UN, you might be in a dangerous situation. Also, living conditions are not going to be good. You are going to live in a tent, maybe. The toilet is going to be a hole dug in the ground. You won't have access to good food, to the food you are used to. In some cases, you might not even have electricity. And these are extreme situations. Of course, we try to provide the best conditions for our colleagues, but there might be cases where, especially when establishing an office, where conditions are going to be difficult. So we need people who understand this from the beginning and who are willing to work in this type of hardship locations. The third point is we need people who really, really enjoy diverse multicultural environments. I remember when I started as an intern in my team, we were 18 people from 12 different countries, and I loved it. It was fantastic. I learned so much just by the simple contact with colleagues from all over the world. I think it's maybe one of the best attributes of working for the United Nations in general. We also need colleagues who bring new ideas and who are not afraid to bring these new ideas and to speak up about their new ideas, but they also bring new skills and new solutions to the problems that we have. And of course, the overarching message is colleagues who are determined to make a difference in the world. And in your future, when you start considering your career, or maybe even now, you need to take some time and think, really think if this is a career that you want. Because there are people who are really suited for working in the UN. There are people who are really suited for working in the government. There are people who are really suited for working in a business company, right? So I think now at the start of your career, now is the time to think, what do I want to do? Is this type of organization working for the UN, is this right for me? And first question you have to ask yourself is, do you have compassion? Are you determined to make a positive impact in the world? The second one, do I have the right education? Because you need to be specialized in a specific area. Maybe in the beginning, if you start actually as an intern or as a volunteer or at the beginning of your career, you might have a general type of education, but you have to already think moving forward, what do you want to do? And in which area you want to specialize yourself. The third one is experience. Do I have the right type of experience for this organization? We are looking for people who have at least 3 years of experience for regular staff positions, but a bit later I will explain about other opportunities to enter the organization as well. The fourth point, cultural sensitivity, extremely important, because we often work with people whose beliefs, whose traditions, whose needs are totally different from our own. We work all over the world. Especially as internationals, we don't work in our own country. And then we need to be very much aware of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And in addition to being culturally sensitive, again, I think that we need to enjoy the diversity of other cultures. The fifth point, are you willing to travel? And it's often when we go to these events that participants think, oh, I'm going to travel to New York, and I'm going to travel to Geneva, and I'm going to travel maybe to Seoul. I just came back from Seoul last night, and this is going to be my travel. No, travel means very often getting on a helicopter and flying from Kabul to Jalalabad, or getting on a very small UN plane in South Sudan and flying from Juba to a small refugee camp in the bush, basically, where the conditions are not good. They're extremely difficult very often. So this is what you have to think. Are you ready to uproot yourself and go to this kind of situations? Of course, the education, you have to have a bachelor's or a master's in a field that is relevant for UNHCR. And this bachelor or master's, they have to be recognized. They have to be issued by an institution that is recognized internationally. So they have to be on this big list. It's called the UNESCO list of educational institutions. Again, so once you did this assessment of your skills, the next point is, what are we looking for? What am I looking for when I do recruitment? I'm looking for somebody who shows passion for humanitarian work. Somebody who shows, and it's very visible, cultural sensitivity. Also, somebody who tells us that they are willing to serve in hardship locations. A lot of optimism, but also creative ideas, a resilient person, and very open-minded candidates. Of course, fluency in English is mandatory because this is one of our working languages. I know that there is this perception that we only hire people who are specialized in refugee protection or in legal studies, but this is not true. We hire people in all these areas. We hire people in human resources, we hire people in social media, we hire people in supply, in admin, in finance, but also, and these are maybe our core areas are linked to protection, registration, shelter, and livelihoods, but also physical site planner. So everything that has to do with management of a camp, but also management of the registration process for refugees. And we advertise our positions twice a year, and this is when everybody can apply for a position with UNHCR. What are the possible career opportunities with our organizations? I will start with the first one, which is an internship. It can go between 2 to 8 months, and internships can be remote at the moment. We just rolled out a new policy as of 1st of October. So an internship means that you would come and you would work in our office, or you would be working remotely. You would have your travel paid for in case you are traveling to the location. And you would also have a stipend every month, depending on the location where you are, a stipend that is going to allow you to live a decent life. And this internship should give you an extraordinary type of experience, and it should also help you decide for the future what you want to do. I think that internships are the best way to get a feeling of an organization, but also to understand, is this what you want to do in the future? And I don't know what are the requirements for your studies, if you have to do internships or not, and when will you have to do internships. We don't have internships for candidates who are under 18. We only have internships for candidates who are in the last year of studies or within 2 years of studies, university studies. And the second opportunity is being a volunteer. And being a volunteer, it's still under a contract with our organization, so you cannot just go and say, I want to volunteer. How can I help? We don't deal with that. Our organization is a big bureaucracy, so we issue contracts to everybody. It's a lot of sensitive information, and we cannot just give access to anyone who wants to come and help. We had many cases now, especially with the Ukraine crisis, of people who would come to our office and say, I want to volunteer. And then we had to send them away because we are not an NGO. We are the UN. We are similar. We work in a way similar to the government. There are volunteers online at the moment. There are volunteers on site. And the duration of the volunteer assignment can be between 1 day and 4 years, actually. I think this is a limit at the moment. Just something to keep in mind, the oldest volunteer that exists in the UN system now, and I know this because I just had a conversation with a colleague from the United Nations Volunteer Program, is 82 years old. So maybe this is not something that you want to do now, but maybe you want to go back home and talk to your family and ask them if they would be interested in working for the UN, for UNHCR, as a volunteer. The Junior Professional Officer category is a specific program that is funded by governments. So they would be funded by the government of Korea, for example, because they want to increase their presence in the UN. They would be funding for specific people. They would be paying for specific people who are then employed by UNHCR. And this is a very good career path for many young people who want to start working as professionals with UNHCR. Talent pools are basically a roster of candidates who have applied, who have expressed their interest in working for UNHCR. And then when we need them, we reach out to them, and then they are ready to hire. So they can be deployed, they can start working within a few weeks from the moment when we need them. And we use them in particular for short-term assignments, 3 months, 5 months, maximum 2 years, in cases where there are emergencies, in cases when there is a crisis and we need to be able to send somebody on the ground as soon as possible. The fixed-term international positions are the ones, I work on a fixed-term international position. This is a regular employee staff position. This is the core of our organization. For the others, for consultancies and temporary appointments, their numbers vary depending on the situation. So if there is a big crisis, we're going to hire more consultants, we're going to hire more people on temporary appointment. And then if we see that that crisis lasts longer, then they're going to become our regular employees. We also hire people in the national offices, and this is the biggest number of employees that we have at the moment, actually. And they can be general service or national officer. This is how they are called. And they are nationals of the country where they work. They are employed as United Nations employees. Their status is called being an international civil servant. It's very similar to the status of a government employee. Maybe a few words about our recruitment process. We just rolled out, by the way, last week, a new recruitment process and a new recruitment system. And hopefully it's going to make things much, much easier for our candidates and a much better experience for our candidates and for our managers who are hiring these candidates. So first of all, of course, we advertise the positions. and then candidates apply, and then my team checks their eligibility, and we start doing the long listing, and then we send it to the managers and they do the short listing. We get on average around 300 applicants for a position, just to give you an idea. And from these 300 people, maybe around 50 would be qualified and extremely qualified for this role. After this, and this is when the managers are going to look and say, okay, from these 50 people, maybe I want to invite for a test only 5 or 6 of them, because for Venezuela, I need somebody who speaks Spanish, I need somebody who is very specialized in this and this and this area, and I want somebody who I want to make sure that they're going to fit very well with the team. So these people are invited to a written test. And afterwards, we also do some language testing in some cases and some other functional assessments. So there might be some other specific types of tests that candidates have to pass. Afterwards, we do a competency-based interview only for the people who passed the written test. And the competency-based interview, it's a very specific type of interview. And if you want to apply at some point for any position with the UN, you'll have to Google this. There are plenty of materials available. There are plenty of videos. We have prepared several videos, and you can check our LinkedIn page, because it's a type of interview where we assess your future skills based on your past experience. We assess your future performance based on your past experience. What it means is that we ask you questions such as, give me an example from your past experience about team management, and then we assess your answer based on your ability to display all of the skills and all of the skills at a specific level required for a position. It's quite tricky. I have seen many candidates coming to interviews and failing an interview because they don't understand what a competency-based interview means and how they should structure their answers. So again, I really encourage you strongly to Google it and check how to ace a competency-based interview. So the interview then afterwards, a very important step is doing the reference checks. We check the past education of candidates, and we also check their past performance with their previous employers. We don't go to the police, we don't do police checks, but we check if there have been any issues. And in particular, we check if there have been issues related to sexual harassment and to sexual exploitation, because the type of work that we do is so sensitive and we are in a position of power in many locations. Right? Just imagine what would happen if one of our employees would go to a place and say, okay, bribe me. If you bribe me, I can facilitate your application for asylum in a country. That would be totally unacceptable. So we have to do very thorough reference checks. After we do the reference checks, then we issue the contract, and then candidates have to do a medical checkup, and then finally they come to UNHCR. The process takes, on average, I would say 3 months from the time you apply until the time when you get an offer. But it can be longer or it can be shorter, so it depends very much. And this is where you can see the positions we advertise. At the moment, there are not many positions because we advertise twice a year. So our website is unhcr.org/careers. There are some videos there. We just changed our system last week, so there might still be some glitches if you try to apply, but hopefully in 1 or 2 weeks more, everything is going to be running smoothly. Maybe a few tips also about how to apply for jobs with UNHCR. And the first thing is read the description of the position you apply for. And make sure that when you fill in your letter of interest, you are linking that letter of interest to the position you apply for. In addition to the simple fact, like if you apply for UNHCR, maybe don't write in the letter of interest, dear UNICEF or dear Samsung, because we see that sometimes candidates, they just don't pay attention to, and they use the same letter of interest for all the positions. But read the job description, read exactly what this role is supposed to do, and then try to link your profile and what you have done before to that specific position. What is also very important, and especially for the new generations, express why do you want to work for us. Put soul into your letter of interest. Don't just copy paste it from the internet. Nobody likes a very generic letter of interest. Put something of, my name is Anita, and I want to work for UNHCR because when I was a child, I watched a video of BTS, and then I Googled them and I saw that they are ambassadors for UNHCR, and then this is why I started getting interested in UNHCR. So put a little bit of soul into your letter of interest. I told you earlier that we get around 300 applicants for every position. In some cases there might be fewer, in some cases there might be even more. We had recently some recruitments where we had 600 applicants for a post. And from these applicants, around 20% are going to be fully qualified. They would meet all the minimum requirements. How can you stand out, and how can you be noticed by the recruiters and, of course, by the person who's going to hire you at the end of the day, by the hiring manager? Again, going back to the letter of interest, put soul in it. Make sure that you say who you are and you say why you're the best candidate for that specific role. Not only why you meet the minimum requirements, not only why you think that you're interested in that role, but why you are the best candidate for that specific role. Of course, you have to fill in all your contact details carefully in your application. We had cases of candidates who didn't give us the right email address, and then any communication we tried to have with them failed. Very, very unfortunate. In terms of education, highlight how your education links to the position you apply for. Let's say you are studying now law, then you have to explain how that law position is linked to the protection area where you want to work. You also have to provide the exact number of the exact name of the university. We have to make sure that the spelling is correct, because if it's not correct, our automatic AI system is going to screen you out. So if we don't find your university on the list of recognized universities, we are going to screen you out automatically. Your application is not even going to get to us. Professional experience, and in general, applicants who do have a lot of professional experience, they have to link their experience to the position they apply for. So again, make sure that you highlight, you read the description of the job, and then you highlight exactly what from your previous professional experience makes you the best, most qualified person for that job. For young applicants and for students, what is very important, include all of your part-time work, include all of your volunteering work, all of your internships. Some organizations are going to consider your previous experience as an intern or as a volunteer. Some organizations will not, but you have nothing to lose. Yeah, so if you are volunteering at a soup kitchen once a week, include that in your application. The other day, I was talking to a candidate who had filled in his profile, and his profile I saw only the education, and then there was nothing else because he's a student. But once I started talking to him, he said, oh, actually, yes, I volunteer at Save the Children. And then I did the volunteering for 1 month in Cambodia. I was working with the community in a village outside Phnom Penh. And then when I was 14 years old, I went with my school and I did this volunteering building a playground in a location. So all these things, don't think that they will not be relevant. Make sure that you include them. I see that there is something in the chat. I don't know if that was for me or not. Ah, okay, sorry. Yes, so, okay. Then next step, language skills. We hire people who are working all over the world. So we hire people who speak, first of all, English. This is our mandatory language. But then we also hire people who speak French, because in some places you need to speak French, you need to speak Spanish, you might need to speak Arabic or other languages. There is a list of UN recognized languages, and that is English, French, Spanish, Russian, Chinese, Arabic. I might have missed one, I don't know. But we are looking for people who are proficient in more than one language. It's not mandatory to speak more than one language, but we are really encourage people to acquire new skills. And we also, if for specific position, we might ask candidates to actually prove that they speak the language. They would have to include a certificate, they would have to, or maybe their mother tongue, but they would have to demonstrate that they have those language skills. A few points that are important to know before you apply for a position. What does it mean working for UNHCR? It doesn't mean working in Geneva. For most of us, it doesn't mean working in Geneva in a nice office. And it means working in South Sudan, or working in Venezuela, or working in Bangkok. Okay, Bangkok, it's quite a nice place to be, but it means working in different places all over the world. 42% of our staff are based in hardship locations. And it's not only about the hardship, and it's not only about living in difficult conditions, but it's also about the fact that you are interacting every day with the refugees, and emotionally it's very difficult. And so you have to understand, are you ready to be in that situation where every day you're going to see people in need, people who are in dire need, people whose lives have been uprooted and have changed totally, and people who are very often in a lot of pain. Another thing, however, because we do care about our employees, so yes, you might have to work in hardship locations, but also you are going to move around, because you can stay in a hardship location for a maximum of 5 years. Normally it would be 2 years. So for South Sudan or for Afghanistan, you would only have to stay 2 years, and afterwards you would be moved to another location where living conditions are probably better. However, what does it mean? It means that you have to take your family and move every 2 to 5 years. So maybe you're going to be in Geneva now, or maybe you're going to be in Budapest or in Bangkok. You stay there for 3 years, 4 years. Afterwards, you take everybody and you move to another location. You start a new life. You rent a new house. Children have to go to a new school, make brand new friends. It's difficult. So this is something you have to understand. You won't be able to see your family as often as you would like to. So it's the pluses and the minuses. And then this is where you can find us. So we are on LinkedIn, we are on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. I'm sure we are on TikTok as well, but I don't have the link for that. And now it's time for questions. And thank you so much for being present here today. It's always very nice to see that people are interested in working for the UN.
That was an extraordinary and inspiring session by you, ma'am. Your creative and fun-filled session enlightened us and kept each one of us engaged. Now, we would like to request our speaker, Ms. OANA, to kindly answer a few queries put forth by the audience. For this, may I invite the moderator of the session, Ms. Pilsey, to pose some questions from the audience to you. Over to you, ma'am.
I'm sure there are bound to be a few questions. Let us take up one or two of them. Good morning to all. Let me quickly scan the questions received in the Q&A box. Over to you, ma'am. We have a question. What type of higher education opportunities are available for refugees?
What type of higher education opportunities?
Yes, ma'am.
All types of higher education opportunities are available for refugees. And we support refugees in enrolling them into school. there are no restrictions. I mean, okay, if it is paid education, of course, then it's more difficult because then it requires funding. But otherwise, refugees have exactly the same rights as everybody else for education. So it's part of this package of human rights that we promote for everybody.
Thank you so much, ma'am. We have another question. How does UNHCR distinguish between a refugee and an economic migrant?
There are very clear criteria between refugees and economic migrants, and this is why we are actually in constant contact with the local authorities everywhere we go, because we don't grant the refugee status, we facilitate the granting of the refugee status together with the local authorities. So they have to demonstrate that they fled conflict, that they were subject to persecution, that they, So there are specific conditions. If somebody comes from a country where there is no conflict at the moment, they have no proof that they are fleeing persecution, political persecution, or any other type of persecution, they are not going to be granted the refugee status.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the insightful answers. We have many queries, and yes, the students can access the mobile app, and the questions will be directly addressed. The feedback link will be shared in the chat box. Every attendee who submits the feedback form will receive a digital certificate. Over to you, Praneeth.
Thank you, ma'am, for all your support and guidance given to the large audience by attending to their concerns so patiently during the course of the discussion. It is time for us to move on to the second part of the session, the time to meet the university spokesperson. We're joyous to welcome Mr. Rami Ahmed Al-Hasmi Idris, highly experienced in education fields as a marketing person also, as well as a study abroad counselor, especially for study in Malaysia and Egypt. Fast learner, problem solver, and always preferred to think outside the box.
Currently, he works as an education and study abroad consultant at UNISTUDENT University Entrance Services, Abu Dhabi, UAE. He worked as a network engineer at BlueMax Solution LLC, Khartoum, Sudan. Digital marketing manager at Sumnada Technologies LLC, Khartoum, and customer services at KASS International SND BHD, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Let us all watch a prelude of the university. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, sister. Good morning, all. I'm so delighted. I'm so happy. It is my pleasure to join you in these beautiful mornings, my fellow and my colleagues, my brothers and sisters from the students. I would like, first of all, to thank Avinair, Board of Directors of Indian School Brochure for the beautiful platform that gather us all. And I'm sure that we will both benefit from these events. And I would like to encourage the Board of Directors to build this kind of platforms like every months or every couple of 2 months, because the students really need to have the information directly from the counselor and from the directors also. So I would like to start my presentation with a video. Actually, they said the thousand is a picture is worth 1,000 words, and that's why I chose to start my presentation with a small video, just to show you a quick a capture of Malaysia and the beautiful cities of Malaysia, and you can see like also some of the cultures over there and the cuisines and different culture over there. Thank you very much for joining me today. And I would like to introduce myself. My name is Rami Ahmed. And before everything, I studied in Malaysia myself. I'm a student of Malaysia. That's why today I will speak to my fellow students as a student also. I graduated from Malaysia and I was having the same doubts, the same questions that you have now. So I would like to introduce and start now my presentation by introducing first the reasons why you should choose Malaysia among like other countries. There is Europe, there is other Asian countries. Actually, there is a lot of reasons that encourage the students to choose Malaysia, but I chose like a few reasons. First is the world-class education. Malaysia known by the high quality standards in the education, especially in the government universities, also the private universities. There is more than 20 universities is worldwide recognized by the QS ranking, and it's in the top 1,000 universities in the world. Second is affordability. I know many of the students, maybe here or in other countries, they will suffer from affording the fees and even the living expenses in other countries. That's why Malaysia, it will be like great option and choice to them, because the Malaysia is really cheap comparing to other universities, comparing to other countries, sorry. So it will be like the best choice for them. So third is the modern and the progressive. Malaysia is full of cultures. You can find like multi-cultures in Malaysia: Arab, Asian, Indians, Chinese. So myself, I experienced this kind of multi-cultures, and it will be like more benefit for the students also to explore and to be like exposed to these kind of cultures. He will learn a lot despite of the educational learning. First is the English language. Of course, there is a lot of language spoken in Malaysia, but the English is the main. So maybe in other countries you will suffer regarding the language. Maybe for example, like in Russia or Germany, you will have to speak their language. But in Malaysia, if you speak Chinese, you will find the Chinese language in there, Mandarin. And if you speak Tamil, you will find a couple of Indians, also Malaysian Indians, they speak Tamil also. But the main language is English. So if you speak Arabic also, you will find there is huge numbers of students from Arab origin living in Malaysia. So that's why you will have no issue regarding the language. Fifth is the strategic location. Actually, Malaysia is in the heart of Asia, and it's like surrounded by Thailand, Tunisia, Singapore. Singapore and Thailand and many countries other that it will be like experience also for the students to visit them and travel to them. Six is the safety. Of course, we all when we are sending our children to study abroad, we are looking for the safety and affordability. So Malaysia is very safe, is very peaceful. Even the people over there, the society are very welcoming. The international students, they're welcoming them. Seventh, as I said, the multicultural societies, you will find many even more than 50 nationalities over there. You will be like, they will be your colleagues, your lecturer, your also like classmates. So you will learn a lot from that one. Last one is the dynamic lifestyle. Actually, Malaysia is the lifestyle of Malaysia is really stunning. If you are looking for fashion, if you are looking for simplicity of life, if you are looking for luxury, you will find it in Malaysia. Of course, we have our children that sometimes they will look for something cheerful and, you know, full of life, and this is Malaysia actually. So you will find all of this and more in Malaysia. So this is continuously to say why studying in Malaysia, to convince or giving a clear picture to the students to visit Malaysia. There is a saying, they say Malaysia is truly Asia because is full of Asian nationalities, and they all live in Malaysia. It's full of Indians, Tamils, it's full of Chinese, it's full of Indonesian, it's full of Malay. They call the Malay, the original Malay, they call it Orang Asli. That means it's originally from the jungle. It's originally from Malaysia, and this is like really a beautiful experience to have when you send your child or you are studying in Malaysia. You will experience all of this and more, of course. Coming to specifically UTHM University, I would like to also to show a quick video about UTHM University, to just show you the beauty of this university.
Excuse me, sir, you are muted. Excuse me, Ravi, sir, you're muted. Can you please unmute, or any problem?
But they're saying you're muted, They're saying.
Thank you very much for paying attention to the video. I hope that you all saw the video, or is not. Hello, host.
So we can hear you now. You can just continue, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. So, showing the quick introduction about UTHM University. UTHM University is stand of University Tun Hussein on Malaysia University. Is named after Prime Minister, previous Prime Minister in Malaysia. It's a government university. It's located in the city of Johor. This is the border of Malaysia and Singapore. With this total students of 16,000 students, more than 1,000 international students, and more than 900 total faculty staffs. It's have like more than 50 undergraduate programs and also postgraduate programs from master, PhD. This is some of the main faculties that you know they presenting in UTHM. They have the civil engineering faculty, and they have the electronical and electric engineering. They have also the mechanical, and they have the technology management and business faculty, and they have the technical and vocational education faculty, and they have also the faculty of computer science and IT, and they have the faculty of applied science and technologies, also the engineering technology. The total tuition fees for the bachelor degree for all these specialties is coming between 30 to 35,000 ringgit. That is around 30 to 32,000 dirham, and around 3,000 to 4,000 riyal Omani. And below the main faculties, we can see here also I will show it now, the specialties inside these faculties.
Hello, yes, sir.
Yes, I would like just to show the.
Okay.
Okay, never mind. For this one is I would like to show under the main faculties is coming for the faculty of civil engineering is coming the Bachelor of Civil Engineering.
Excuse me, sir. Sorry to interrupt. Can you please stop sharing and start sharing again, because something that black screen is blocking the view. Can you please stop sharing and start sharing again? Thank you.
Okay. We have the Bachelor of Science of Architecture, and below the Faculty of Electric and Electronic, we have the Bachelor of Electrical Engineering and Electronic Engineering, and the Faculty of Mechanical and Manufacturing Engineering. We have 4 specialties. We have the Bachelor of Mechanical Engineering, and we have the Bachelor of Engineering Technology, Aircraft Manufacturing and Aircraft Maintenance, and also the Bachelor of Professional Piloting. And the Faculty of Technology Management and Business, we have the Bachelor of Technology Management and Bachelor of Technology Management Production and Operation. We have also the Bachelor of Technology Construction. We have the Bachelor of Real Estate, and we have the Bachelor of Technology Management, Design and Manufacturing. Under the Faculty of Vocational Education, we have like several also specialties from Bachelor of Food Service Technology, Building Construction and Technology. And we have also the Bachelor of Cooling Air and Coordinating Technology. And we have also the Bachelor of Industrial Electronic Automation Technology, also the Industrial Machining Technology. And the Faculty of Applied Science, we have the Bachelor of Science in Industrial Statistics and Bachelor of Science in Mathematics. Also, we have also the Bachelor of Science in Food Technology and Bachelor of Science in Applied Physics and Biodiversity also. We have a Bachelor of Science in Industrial Chemistry. So as you can see, there is a lot of programs that UTHM is offering. Coming to the requirements for the admission, actually the requirement for the requirement for the admission is different from specialty to others, and for the general requirements, they will require for the undergraduate, of course, recognize the high school certificate, and they also require for IELTS 5 or TOEFL also accepted. And for the high school certificate, the subjects minimum is 6 subjects. This is for the engineering and for science, or you have to go for foundation year. And the grade is minimum C or 60%. So this is the main requirements for to be admitted in UTHM universities for any of these specialties. So for this one, also why you choose like to study in UTHM. UTHM actually is ranked in the best 900 university in the world by the QS ranking for 2023, and it's also a government university, so you don't worry of increasing the fees or any discrepancy with the university when we have it like as we can see for the private universities. UTHM is purely government and is supported by the government, and you can see also the city of Johor that is the university located is very simple actually. Is you can see the village also. You can see that the life over there is very simple, is very cheap, is really affordable for any students, internationals or locals. You can easily capture the language, and you can easily speak Bahasa. And this is also the strengths of this university, that is surrounded by the local villages and the local people over there, and they're very welcoming actually. Also the accommodation over there is really affordable if the parents they want to travel and visit their children. The duration from Kuala Lumpur to Johor is around 3 hours by the car, and it's really a beautiful journey over there. It's not that crowded like the city, the capital, Kuala Lumpur. You can also apply for, if you are like a postgraduate student, you can apply for many specialties for your master, for your PhD also. There is a master by coursework, and there is a master mixed mode, that is research and coursework, and there is a master by research. There is full-time and part-time, but unfortunately for the international students, they are not allowed to do the part-time. So they will only be eligible for the full-time degree. So for this one, is the steps of applying and studying in Malaysia is very simple. First of all, just sit with the academic counselor and with your parents, with your teachers, and decide your course. Be careful of choosing the course because it must be your real passion, because you will be like continue studying and working and living with this specialty and course. See your strengths in the subjects. If you, let's say, if you like physics or chemistry or biology, go for the degree of science in applied, let's say, biology or chemistry or physics or math or statistics. If you are a geek of, loving the computers and loving, the games and everything, go for the computer science, go for IT. This is the first step of going to apply in Malaysia. Choose your course carefully. Discover Malaysia. At least know the city, the language, the currency. The currency is Malaysian ringgit. Malaysia is very rich and wide. You can discover like until you graduate, you will be like discovering the cities, the beautiful islands. The second one is like plan your budget. You have to choose a good university, coming within your budget. So it will be like useful for the students or also the families to support their children abroad. And again, I'm saying Malaysia is very safe and it's very beautiful for my fellow parents that they want to send their daughters. It's really safe over there. They can learn a lot and discover their passion, and it's a welcoming country. The first one is just apply for the visa. It will be like online through the EMDS website. So it will be like a few steps. Just grab your offer letter and register in the EMDS website. Apply for the student visa, and then within 2 weeks you will get it. And you are ready to go. After you get your student visa, you will be like good to go and register in the university. There is internal hostel for the accommodation. The accommodation inside the university is really affordable and cheap. It's coming below 500 for the per month for the room. That is 500 ringgit. So it's really affordable for the students to live and to explore and to get like a stable life during their studies. And this is also for both undergraduate and postgraduate for the accommodation and for the study. And actually for the master and for the PhD, they can also bring their families and apply for parents visa, and they will get it. For the undergraduate, they don't have this privilege, but their parents still they can visit using the visiting visa. and this is will be like also again a good chance for the parents that they easily can get the visa, no any insurance, no any extra fees for the visa. Is not complicated. It's really an easy process, and this is like the main points to help the students and let him like discover his true passion. As I'm a student I studied in Malaysia 7 or 5 years ago. I would like also to recommend personally studying in Malaysia and specifically UTHM because I found like a lot of benefits. Being like students in Malaysia, I learned a lot. I was, a normal student coming from Sudan, but in Malaysia I discovered a lot. I learned a lot, and it was like it gave me the chance to even work in similar places that I'm working now, and will be like also your future, my dear students. And I can see the time is running. Maybe I don't have like much time to speak about Malaysia, and I can speak until morning. Actually, you will feel bored. I don't want to feel bored. And thank you very much for listening and giving me this chance. And I would like to also teach you one word in Malay, that is terima kasih. That is mean thank you in Bahasa Malayu. So remember it well. And if you need like any help or any support of any kind, you do have my contact details. I'm sharing it in the screen now. Please contact me, please email me if you have anything. And I would like finally also to thank RAMYA again for this and the Indian Board of Directors again for this chance. I'm glad that I had the chance of speaking to students in Oman and around the world also. And whoever free or he have other questions, maybe in this session he didn't get it, I will be joining in the afternoon also around 4 p.m. to speak about another university, that is UCSI University. Please join me. You have now my contact, and I'm ready if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for the informative session. We are sure that the process of exploring and inquiring has begun in the minds of my friends and parents. Over to the moderator.
I'm sure there are bound to be a few questions. Let us take up one or two of them. Good morning to all. Let me quickly scan the questions received in the Q&A box. Sir, we have a question. Could you explain the requirements to apply for the scholarship as an international student?
Actually, UTHM have different scholarships. That is the scholarship under the sport category, and there is UTHM scholarships. And the processing of applying, first of all, you have to get the offer letter from UTHM directly, and then you can see the requirements, because it's like it will be like changed every time from time to time. But you have to fulfill like the English language, of course. Maybe it will be like 6 or 6.5, and also the degree also that you are showing. Maybe there is someone with diploma or higher qualification than high school certificate, and they will like do interview for the students, and then they will see if eligible or not. Maybe if you send me in my email, I will send the specific requirements about it, because it's as I said, it's different scholarships. I don't know which category that you fit in, but I will send you, if you contact me, I will send you the requirements indeed.
Thank you so much, sir, for the insightful answer. We have many queries, and yes, the students can access the mobile app and the questions will be directly addressed. The feedback link will be shared in the chat box. Every attendee who submits the feedback form will receive a digital certificate. Over to you, Seba.
As we draw the end of this enriching session, I deem it my great privilege to propose the vote of thanks. We extend a heartfelt thanks to our eminent speaker, Ms. OANA UNGUREANU, for all her words of motivation. Thank you, ma'am. We express our gratitude to the spokesperson, Mr. Rami Ahmed Al-Hashmi Idris, for sharing details and giving us an overview of the career guidance. Thank you, sir.
Our deepest sense of appreciation and gratitude to Chairman Dr. Sivakumar Manikam and the members of Board of Directors, Indian Schools in Oman. A heartfelt thanks to President Mr. Ajayan Poyara, member of the Indian School Baushi School Management Committee, and the principal of the school, Dr. Bhavesh Balarao. Heartfelt thanks to our platinum sponsor, Jain Deemed to be University, gold sponsor, De Montfort University, silver sponsor, Dallas Baptist University, USA, Grey Matters, SP Jain School of Global Management, Sri Ramchandra Institute of Higher Education and Research, and bronze sponsors, Middle East College, SP Jain School of Global Management, digital marketing partner, Spectrum and Trefoil, media partner, The Arabian Stories, and powered by support sponsors. Over to the video.
An event of this kind requires the coordination of a committed team. Thank you to the ISB team for making Avenir 2022 possible. Thank you to each of the teachers, students, and parents for being a part of the session.
Computer science empowers students to create the world of tomorrow. Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft. With these uplifting words, I, Praneeth,
And I, Zeba,
wish you all a glorious day ahead. Before we sign off, let me remind you of the online upcoming sessions on science, engineering, humanities, and commerce. You can provide your feedback on the Avenir website, www.aveniroman.com. Every attendee who submits the feedback form will receive a digital certificate. See you in the next session. Stay tuned and stay safe.
Avenir is a global career guidance event to empower students and assist them in identifying their ideal future career path. It was conceptualized by the Board of Directors of Indian Schools in Sultanate of Oman. The first Avenir was organized at Indian School Al Mabala in the year 2018. In 2019, Indian School El Seeb conducted the program. Indian School Muscat conducted the first virtual Avenir in the year 2020. AHMED 2021 was conducted virtually by Indian school Al-Wadi Al-Kabir. In 2022, the flagship school in Oman. Indian school Boshar is all set to fly the flag higher by conducting AHMED 2022 in hybrid mode. Our impeccable planning, devoted team, unmatched resources guarantee a memorable event. The 5-day event will be held from Thursday, October 13, 2022 to Tuesday, October 18, 2022. Prominent achievers, educators, and industry experts will address the audience. Universities and educational institutes from different corners of the globe will present themselves to the audience of AHMED 2022. The event is open to all educational boards, including CBSE, ICSE, IGCSE, and IB. It will provide comprehensive career guidance to students to pursue their passions at national and international universities. AHMED 2022 guarantees a wealth of information and awareness on 21st century courses, scholarships, internships, and career placements. This event will assist students in discovering their ideal future career path. Let us gather together for this 5 days of excitement, effulgence, enlightenment, exploration, and exaltation. Let's join AHMED 2022 to discover you. AHMED is a global career guidance event